Going on YouTube? How y'all doing? John Matrix here today with some more SCP goodness for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at SCP-294, the coffee machine. Object class Euclid. Teleportation SCP. So yeah, this is going to be by the Vulcan. As always, links are down below in the description to his channel and to the original video here without my commentary and reaction. So if you want to check out the original video, don't forget to click the links down below. Give it a like if you enjoy it, and you know, check out the Vulcan's channel. He does a lot of great work, a lot of SCP stuff, a lot of voice acting for him. So yeah, check out his stuff. We're doing this reaction live, as you can see, from YouTube members. So if you would like to come in and join a lot of these discussions and hang out and chill while we do this live, feel free to click the join button down below this video and take a look at the YouTube membership benefits that I offer and see if any of those would have any interest to you. But for now, we are going to jump into the video. So again, this is SCP-294, the coffee machine, object class Euclid, teleportation SCP. Boop. Volume is up. Boop.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-294. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures.
So I have no idea what to expect from this, honestly. It's a coffee machine and it teleports. Like, does the coffee machine teleport people that it gives coffee to? Does it teleport the coffee to them? Could there someone just be like sitting there at their desk and be like, boy, I wish I had some coffee right now, and they're just, you know, their, you know, coffee gets teleported to them. You know what I mean? It's like a sentient coffee machine that just like has to serve people, you know, some coffee. Something like that. Or, you know, does the coffee machine just teleport around the world, you know, servicing the needs of those who need coffee? I have no idea. Let's find out.
There are no special standard containment procedures on file for item SCP-294. However, only personnel of security clearance level 2 or higher are allowed to interact with it. See document SCP-294-A. SCP-294 is currently being stored in the second floor personnel break room and is monitored by 2 guards of security clearance level 3 at all times.
Interesting.
Description: Item SCP-294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine, the only noticeable difference being an entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to an English QWERTY keyboard. Upon depositing 50 cents US currency into the coin slot, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured.
So could you, is this like literally like, instead of, is this like Star Trek Replicator, you know what I mean? But instead of like saying tea Earl Grey hot, you have to type tea Earl Grey hot, you know what I'm saying? Is that what's happening right now? Is this like the prototype for the replicators in Star Trek?
7 initial test runs were performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, and soda. Non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass, and each one returned a success.
Interesting.
Test runs with solid materials such as diamond have failed, however,
that would be something. You put in 50 cents and you say, hey, give me a glass full of diamonds, and, you know, talk about getting rich overnight, brother. Okay, yeah.
It appears that SCP-294 can only deliver substances that can exist in a liquid state. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine would not respond to further requests. After a period of approximately 90 minutes, the machine seemed to have restocked itself. It is also
interesting. So it has a certain amount that it can do and then it goes away. I mean, still, you put in 50 cents and you request some kind of like rare liquid material or something like that, dude, and start selling that shit. Making bank, dude. Making bank, you know. Become the new Walter White, the new Heisenberg, you know what I'm saying?
Also interesting, approximately 90 minutes, the machine seemed to have restocked itself. It is also interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would have eaten through a normal paper cup seem to have no effect on the cups dispensed by the machine.
Interesting.
Testing is ongoing. As suggested, SCP-294 was moved to the second-floor personnel break room as a money-saving venture. Following Incident 294-01, guards were stationed at the item and a security clearance became necessary to interact with it. Document SCP-294-A regarding Incident 294-1. On August 21, 2005, Agent Joseph attempted to use item SCP-294 to obtain coffee during his allocated break time at 9:30 a.m. at the request of Agent to see what it would do. Requested a cup of Joe from the item.
A cup of oh boy, you said a cup of Joe. You didn't say coffee, you said a cup of Joe. So I'm assuming the thing like kills someone named Joe and just like liquefies it and puts it into a cup. Yikes.
After confirming the selection, Agent Joseph began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing.
Yeah.
After moving the unconscious agent to the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispensed by item SCP-294, a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of the biological material dispensed by SCP-294 matched that of Agent.
So, like, would it just, like, pick a random person in the world named Joe to do that to? Or, you know, like, someone nearby that just happens to be named Joe that would happen to? You know what I'm saying? Like, could it just be, like, some random poor schmuck named Joe is just wandering around the world and just, like, they just pass out because this thing like gave them the suck and took their fluids?
Agent made a complete recovery after 4 weeks of rest and intravenous hydration. X-rays and CAT scans showed no further signs of injury and was released. Both agents were reprimanded.
Yeah, it would make sense that it's kind of more proximity based. You know, there's a person named Joe, the closest person named Joe to them would you know, have that happen or something. But it seems like it didn't kill him. The man recovered after 4 weeks, but still.
Was released. Both agents were reprimanded. Additional security measures for SCP-294 have been recommended. Addendum SCP-294-F. After reviewing documentation on SCP-294, suggested testing SCP-294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance.
Yeah.
Addendum SCP-294-H.
Like, I'm literally, in my mind, I'm picturing right now the scenario in Breaking Bad where Jesse and Walter are, like, trying to break into that chemical facility to, like, steal whatever liquid it is they need to like, use as some kind of agent for the meth they're trying to make. So, like, I could sit there and see them, like, parking a van next to it with this thing and be like, you know, make this. And just put in 50 cents over and over and over again and just keep making it, you know what I mean?
A distance. Addendum SCP-294-H. With the overseeing of
exactly.
a cup of SCP-75 secretion was used as input. The product was proven to be the requested liquid, and the cup was able to successfully
Okay, so SCP-75, I don't know if that's one we've went through already or not. Is this one we've gone through already or not? Because it's saying a cup of SCP-75 secretion was used as input. So, like, what is that? Anyway.
Contain the material. However, the report for Incident 075-7 was acknowledged 2 hours after the test. See Addendum SCP-75-M. A containment procedure breach had occurred exactly the same time this test was taking place, waking SCP-75 to its active stage. It was able to secrete an amount of basic solution equal to the capacity of a coffee cup before emergency containment procedure was applied and it was rendered passive. The liquid was not found in post-incident investigation. Addendum SCP-294.
Okay, I'm just gonna want to pause this real quick. I just want to do a quick search to see. Row 75. Oops. Is that what it is? 075? Am I? Yes, okay. I'm just curious. Just curious to see what it is real quick. Oh no, a large snail of a muscular foot resembling a six-finger clawed hand, exceptional heavy with a mass of approximately 160 grams. Property is understood. So some kind of like snail in the shape of some kind of like paw that secretes some kind of fluid. Okay, I got you. We'll leave it there. I just wanted to see what that was to get an idea of what was happening here. But okay. The weird snare, kind of remember that one? Gotcha. Okay.
For I. Researcher punched in request for cup of gold. The machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researcher requested similar precious materials with the same result. Addendum SCP-294-J. Researcher punched in, from a safe range, request for cup of anti-water.
Anti-water.
The machine hummed briefly, then displayed out of range on entry pad. It is
so it seems to be taking elements from somewhere close by and then using that element to create whatever. It takes gold from somewhere, liquefies it, put it in a cup. As long as it's a substance that can be made into a liquid, it somehow reaches out to whatever the closest source of it is, takes it, turns it into a liquid. Damn, I mean, for like legs for 50 cents, man, you know, like you sit there, you put in 50 cents, you get a cup of like pure gold. Okay. Or like you could even probably like say, hey, give me a cup of liquid platinum. You know what I mean? Like just keep mining platinum. Just sit there and keep 50 cents. Give me that platinum, baby. I'll turn that 50 cents into a fucking fortune real quick, brother. I was wondering if this is an entertainment invention. It seems a bit wacky. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Theorized that SCP-294 has a limited range of collection and cannot reach into alternative universes or dimensions.
It makes sense.
Addendum SCP-294-K. Researcher punched in request for diamond. SCP-294 briefly hummed, then displayed out of range on entry pad. SCP-294 gives this result for all solid substances, as diamond is a solid crystalline form of carbon. It appears that the machine will not dispense liquid carbon, as this does not result in a diamond. When a cup of carbon was subsequently punched in, the machine dispensed a cup of liquid carbon. SCP-294 was immune to the damaging effects of the dispensed liquid. Addendum SCP-294-M. Testing for range of SCP-294's capacity for retrieval has been initiated. A unique compound has been formulated, composed of undisclosed ratios, brand bleach, brand cola,
Nuka-Cola,
METRX powder, and garam masala. The fluid was created and placed at a sealed container 25 meters away from SCP-294. When requested, the fluid was dispensed. An equal amount of the mixture was no longer present in its original container. Addendum SCP-294-01. Researcher under observation of Level 4 personnel keyed in a request of the best drink I've ever had.
Interesting.
SCP-294 dispensed a fluid similar in appearance to cola.
So then it's able to somehow like scan your consciousness for what you consider your best whatever, you know, like I request the best chili I've ever eaten, and it's able to essentially like take the materials together and then replicate the best chili you've ever eaten, like the exact recipe. That's pretty interesting, honestly. Interesting. I swear I remember them getting to dispense molten lava, which sat calmly in a paper cup. Yeah, that I think they already said that. I think they already said something about molten lava, yeah, and it just sat there. So
researcher identified it as a mixed drink he recalls having in a bar during his bachelor party, and was convinced it was the best drink. He did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola. Further tests are scheduled to ascertain how SCP-294 gathers information.
For real.
Addendum
That would be one of the big things to figure out, is like, how is it able to, I guess, read you, know you, understand you, and figure out that kind of information, you know, because obviously that's subject from person to person. One person's favorite beverage, someone else can hate. Someone likes Pepsi, the other person despises Pepsi, you know, etc. That kind of thing.
Contain how SCP-294 gathers information.
Yeah, it's got to have some kind of way
Addendum
of scanning it.
SCP-294-0-1A. Under the same conditions, Agent
SCP-420 drink. Yeah, okay, I got you. Dude, yeah, it's a liquid, man. You could sit there and be like, hey, make me an unlimited amount of whatever your favorite vape is, dude. There you go. You don't have to, it's 50 cents for whatever your favorite vape is from now on. Easy peasy. There you go.
the best drink I've ever had. SCP-294 delivered a dark fluid topped with a white foam, which was later identified as Vienna Lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on a beach. Was one of them. In his briefing, Agent confirmed his favorite drink ever was a Vienna Lager he consumed at the beach with his friends. It has now been confirmed that SCP-294 has the ability to directly gather information from someone's mind in order to comply with the given conditions.
That is interesting, and also seemingly being able to do it in a very small amount of time. So, now I also wonder, like, so the person has to type this in, right? They can't just, like, announce it. They can't just say they want this. They have to actually type it. So I wonder if there's something about the person actually typing it when they're physically touching it, that it's able to then, like, somehow scan them, get their input or whatever, you know what I mean, through the actual touch. I don't know. Interesting.
Addendum SCP-294-Q-1. Subject keyed the perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorless lavender liquid. After drinking the liquid, subject appeared to go into shock.
What the
Subject
fuck?
later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, but at this point, everything's just one big letdown." Requesting such a drink again.
Oh, so the drink was so good and it was such a crazy sensation that everything after that is not comparable. So he didn't want to live anymore. The sensation of consuming the beverage was so great, euphoric, whatever you want to call it, that his system went into a shock and he passed out and then later killed himself because nothing was comparable from that on. That's a good fucking ass drink. I mean, that's crazy, but that's got to be a hell of a fucking drink.
Is highly things just one big letdown. Requesting such a drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have yet been identified. Addendum 294-T1. The subject keyed in something Cassie will like. The device was heard to hum for about 3 seconds before dispensing an empty cup. Printed on the side of the cup was an image of a traditional soda fountain glass, filled with something brown, and topped with whipped cream.
So it's even able to, like, you can ask it to make the perfect drink for another person that's not even interacted with, and it's able to do that, dude. It's able to make a chocolate banana milkshake. That's insane, bro. This thing is crazy.
Upon introduction to SCP-85, it was identified by her as a chocolate banana milkshake and judged delicious. Addendum SCP-294-W. Researcher keyed in a request for a cup of music. SCP-294 produced a clear sparkling fluid that tasted vaguely alcoholic. Following ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm.
Interesting.
And demonstrated the ability to move and even dance with a certain fluidity that he had not previously shown.
So you could then also ask it for, like, give me like the taste of the sun or something like that, and like you would take a drink and it would make you, like, I mean, I guess technically that could probably kill you. It could, like, incinerate you right then and there because you, like, the sun's insanely hot. But I mean, that could also, I guess, be interpreted as like you could taste what will like a liquid form of the elements that make the sun would like be, or like grass or any, I don't know. That's weird. So it's able to also like take kind of abstract concepts of senses and sensations and make that into like a liquid form that you can consume, and then you're able to like experience that in some way. Like, I wonder if you could sit there and be like, give me liquid immortality, and it could create some kind of drink that would make you immortal. Or like, give me liquid godhood, and it would make you a drink that would turn you into a literal god. Or something like that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I would want to test shit like that.
Testing on other abstract concepts is continuing. Addendum, SCP-294-AB. During a mass security breach, agents requested a cup of pertinent medical knowledge while taking shelter inside the second floor break room. Of the 4 agents in the room, Agent was the only one who was not injured. SCP-294 poured a cup of clear green liquid. Following the ingestion of this substance, Agent began mending other agents' wounds in a manner consistent with Foundation medical training. Agent no longer has the medical training that the liquid provided, and other attempts to recreate the effect have failed.
Yeah, it does seem like this would be something that would be way too useful than for like someone like Wondertainment to make. But that's also very interesting then too, like for an instant, like if there was an emergency situation and you needed some kind of knowledge of something on how to do something, you could literally request that as a drink, consume it, and then you would just obtain that knowledge for whatever the amount of time is, and then would be able to solve that. Like, give me a drink that would let me fully understand quantum mechanics properly, and then like you could solve whatever other mathematical problems and equations and like really understand the true nature of quantum mechanics and quantum physics and stuff like that. That would be, yeah, okay, interesting. There's so many like really like strange ways and things that you could do with this. That's very interesting. See, and like that's the thing. Like this is one of these kind of like SCP anomalies that I was talking about the other day. That's like, it seems harmless, but depending on how the person uses it, it could have profound effects and changes. You know what I mean? Very interesting. Also interesting that it's limited time, like it knows who's giving it. Right.
The agent has speculated that this event was an emergency measure taken by the object to ensure self-preservation. Addendum SCP-294-AC. Dr. requested my life story from SCP-294. SCP-294 made humming noises and shook violently for approximately 3 minutes before providing a highly viscous, opaque black liquid. Upon consumption, Dr. reported that he remembered everything that had ever happened to him.
Damn.
Following this test, Dr. entered his office and returned 48 hours later with a 538-page autobiography.
See, now, could you then... See, that's also fascinating, because like then there's the idea that you could say, okay, create that liquid, and then you give it to someone else, and then now someone else gets to experience every facet of your life from birth till that point, so they could really like understand everything that you've been through, all your hopes, dreams, wishes, all your failures, all your desires, all the hurts and pains that you've been through, all your triumphs and stuff. So like, that would be a very interesting experience to essentially live someone else's life, you know, from birth up until that point through consuming a beverage. You know, and that would be very intense too, man. Like that would be an experience that a lot of people would probably pay a lot of good money for, you know what I mean? Especially depending on who it is, you know, like I'm sure there'd be people out there that would love to like I want to experience what life was like as Michael Jordan, and you consume a drink, and you know, now you get to experience what it's like to, you know, be considered the greatest basketball player of all time and winning the you know, NBA championships, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? I don't know, a lot of cringy shit in that. That's true. That's true. There's definitely a lot of stuff that, you know, happens when you're younger that you don't want to have to relive through. That's true. That's true. But I don't know. It would also be interesting in criminal cases. You know what I mean? Because then you could be like, hey, make a drink that lets me know whether this person is actually guilty of this crime. You could almost do like a Minority Report movie kind of a situation off of this. You know what I mean? So like this could also be used as like a semi-lie detector test, where you could then experience the events that led up to whatever this person did on a specific night, where they might be convicted of a crime or not, and whether or not they did it. You would be able to experience that. Like, that's just fascinating. There's so many like different potential uses just for a little coffee machine that says, give me 50 cents and I'll make basically any kind of liquid that you can fathom, you know? Interesting.
Addendum SCP-294-AD. Researcher produced request consisting solely of the phrase, "Surprise me." Device produced an opaque cup containing normal water, later determined to have been heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. Upon receiving vibration from transport, the contents of the cup turned into steam, violently spraying boiling water in a 2-meter radius.
I mean, that would be surprising. That would be surprising to sit there and get a cup of water that all of a sudden just like, pfft. You would be surprised. I don't know if that's the surprise you're looking for. I honestly forgot how in-depth SCP was. Good suggestion by T. Yeah. T's the man here. Good suggestion, brother. Imagine just gives you a cup of the rapper 50 Cent. That would be funny. That would be funny. Here, yeah, here's your 50 Cent.
Addendum SCP-294-AF.
Oh, shit.
Researcher produced request for Blood of Christ. SCP-294 vibrated and produced the message, Hic Anum Calix Sanguis Me, then produced a paper drinking cup containing approximately 0.12 liters of red grape wine.
So it's like, again, the blood of Christ. What we think of the blood of Christ nowadays is you know, wine used by churches, essentially. And you know, I forget what the ceremony is called right now, but yeah, and that, and the ceremonies that they use for that, it's not the actual like blood of Christ. But that would be interesting if they actually did that, like the real blood of Christ. I want to know what it's like to get shot 9 times. Jesus.
Addendum SCP-294-AG. Researcher produced requests for cup of Smilodon blood, cup of passenger pigeon blood, and cup of Thomas Jefferson's blood, and received 3 out-of-range errors. Addendum SCP-294-AH. A D-Class personnel with IQ of 99 and low curiosity scores was given written instructions about what to request. The D-Class personnel produced a request for blood of Canis lupus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as wolf blood. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for saliva of Equus ferus caballus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as horse saliva. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for urine of Phascolarctus cinereus,
like what?
And received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as koala urine.
Bro, why are they making Forrest Gump like ask for all this shit? That's fucked up.
D-Class personnel next produced a request for cerebrospinal fluid of Phoberomys pattersoni and received a cup of liquid currently undergoing analysis. It is to be noted that Phoberomys pattersoni went extinct during the late Miocene epoch.
Oh, think about that, dude. You could be like, hey man, give me the blood of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it produces the blood. You now have intact full DNA of a dinosaur that you could then clone. We could bring the dinosaurs back, or any extinct species for that matter. Holy shit, there's so many like different ideas and uses you could get from this shit. This is insane.
Approximately 8 million years ago. Addendum SCP-294-AI. Dr. King produced a request for a cup of room temperature superconductor and received a cup of apple juice with seeds floating in it.
Interesting.
Addendum SCP-294-AJ. Dr. Menchu produced request for cup of D151839's leukemia and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found to contain leukemic blast cells, which were a genetic match to D151839. A second request for cup of D151839's leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error.
So you could like give me a cup of the cancer cells in my body and it removes the cancer from your body. You know what I mean? Give me a cup of any kind of virus in your system and it'll pull blood cells out that are infected with the virus. That could be bad though. Because like if you have like a virus that's like in like throughout your whole system, dude, that could like suck all the blood out of you and then you're fucked. You know what I mean? That could be bad. But there are so many crazy idea and uses for this SCP.
D151839 was subsequently found to be free of leukemia. However, within 15 days, the leukemia had recurred. Other SCP-294 experiments are currently awaiting approval. You can look forward to a future lecture with a lot more experiments. I know you guys love that, right? I think that about does it for today. Thank you very much for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
Damn. I mean, honestly, that's out of all the SCPs kind of we covered so far, that one seems to have like the most potential for various uses for good, bad, and anything in between, man. Like, you could use that to get rich by, like I said, you put in 50 cents, you could sit there and be like, give me a cup of gold, give me a cup of platinum, give me, a cup of whatever the most rare liquid material is on the planet, and you keep making it, you could sell it, whatever. Or, you could have it make chemicals so you could make things and, go the Walter Wright, Heisenberg route. But then also the abstract concepts of, give me, I want a cup of, one of Mozart's songs or one of Beethoven's songs or something like that. And so you consume it and you get like the feeling and sensation of the song from drinking it. Or, there's even, give me a cup of liquid knowledge for, like I said, quantum physics or knowing anything like that. So you could solve certain problems or, give me a cup of the full understanding of the nature of the universe. You know what I mean? Like, it could be used for all kinds of crazy, profound things. It definitely, like, right. I mean, it's deemed safe, obviously, or like from what they said, but it's, as I said earlier, it's definitely one of the SCPs that like seems harmless at face value, but the more you dive deeper into its potential uses, it could have profound effects. You know what I mean? So like, technically it's safe. It doesn't do any harm unless the person inputs something that it can take kind of literally, and it, can, like the guy said, surprise me, and it created a, cup of boiling water that exploded and would be surprising, but that could also potentially, burn and hurt someone. You know what I mean? So that's actually very interesting, very fascinating SCP. Very fascinating SCP. Good request, team. Good request, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video here, guys. So that was SCP-294, the coffee machine, object class Euclid teleportation SCP. So yeah, that was by the Vulcan. Links down below in the description to his channel and to this original video without my commentary, etc. So if you want to go check that out, you definitely can. But highly encourage you to do so. Give this video a like if you enjoyed watching along with it. If you'd also do me a favor, we're doing this reaction live here, so if you would like to come join in the discussions that we have before, during, and after the videos, and just come hang out and chill while we're doing this, there's a join button down below. You can click that, see if any of the YouTube membership benefits that I offer have any kind of interest to you. But regardless of that, I just appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out, and checking out the videos. And if you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like and a sub. I would appreciate it. Helps me and helps the channel grow. And we just hit 2K subs, so thank you guys very, very much for all the love and support. Really appreciate it. And on to 10K, I guess. You know, that's I guess the next big stop. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the love and support. Hope you're having a wonderful day whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.